Jim Adams is a farm first, right? So we're a farm business. So we're under construction on our own urban farm in Atlanta's Pittsburgh neighborhood. So on University Avenue, just south of Turner Field, where the Braves used to play, we are building out a farm. We'll be growing vegetables, herbs, and cut flowers. We'll also have several beehives as well. As a matter of fact, the bees are already there. So we're building out there, and the idea is for all of that produce that we grow there to move through this storefront. So we're here at Jim Adams Farm and Table, where we have a counter service kitchen. We've got a market that sells produce and locally sourced small batch goods. And right now we're sourcing from other local farmers, but once our farm gets built out, we'll be selling good Jim Adams grown produce here in the storefront as well. Jim Adams, who we named the business after, was my great uncle, and he was a farmer in Greene County. So he bought about 90 acres in Greene County and was a very successful farmer there. And on that same land where he farmed, his grandson, Willie Adams, is still farming. So that land sits at the end of Jim Adams Road. The county actually named the road after him. Interestingly enough, Willie had torn down several of his very large chicken coops, but left the concrete foundations in place. And he put raised beds on those concrete foundations and was growing in hoop houses, sitting on concrete. And he explained to me how that method with the raised beds and the hoop houses, the plastic covering those beds, it conserved water, allowed him to better manage the soil, cut down on pests, and really allowed for a higher yield and a more productive and efficient growth, more sustainable as well. And so the simple question I put to him was, if you're growing crops on concrete out here in Greene County, why couldn't we do the same thing in Atlanta, where there is a growing demand for locally sourced, healthy food, and there's a problem of accessing that locally sourced healthy food. So he felt we definitely could, and he agreed to help us figure out how. And that's when we began working on a business model with really at its core commercial urban farming. And from the very start, there was a retail component to that farm in order to improve financial sustainability, right? So if you've got your own storefront where you can sell stuff at retail instead of wholesale, and you can do prepared foods, it gives you an opportunity to improve your margins, and that's really what that's the principle that this business is based on. We really wanted to have a community garden component to our business as well. So the raised beds, we built 12 right outside the storefront here at Jim Adams Farm and Table, and offered them up to the community. So we made an announcement once we got them built, and in a very short amount of time, all the beds were taken. So there's a yoga studio around the corner from here that's going to be growing in one of the beds. A school, an elementary school, that's going to be growing as well. A couple of the neighborhood associations have taken a bed, a couple of churches. So folks were really looking for and very appreciative of the opportunity just to get out and grow stuff. And so they'll be providing volunteers. We'll be helping them with a little bit of expertise and guidance, but they'll be growing in those beds, and what they grow there will be theirs. We really want to give folks that gardening experience, that ability to grow your own food, and understanding how to manage the soil and how to plant and harvest. And once they've got stuff that's coming out of the ground, if they want to come in and have us chop it up into a salad and kind of celebrate that first harvest, that's what we'll do. It was a good feeling, and it's still a good feeling to be so warmly received and have folks show such an amount of enthusiasm for this concept. But I think people understand now that what you eat is very important. I mean, that sounds like an understatement, but I think in certain ways our local food economy is broken. So Georgia is an agriculture-intense state, but we in the metro Atlanta region still import 80% of our produce in, right? And so there's something that doesn't quite seem right about that model. And so we want more produce that's grown here locally to be consumed here locally. So folks understand that. They want that local food. They can taste the difference. It's better for you. We make sure that even in our kitchen, we don't use preservatives or additives. Everything's natural. Everything's made from scratch. Folks can taste that difference, and I think they appreciate it, what it means not only for their palate but also for their health.
And folks, let me tell you, their chicken salad sandwich is out of this world. Actually, they should really call it a chicken breast salad sandwich. I mean, huge chunks of chicken, but hey, don't take my word for it. Check them out online or in person. All the info you need is right there on the screen. You can also find them on Facebook.